What's going on, guys? It is your man in black, and do we have a video for you? It should be short and pretty sweet, and this is going to be the last one I'm going to make on the whole oxymoron term sovereign citizen. A lot of people want to know where it comes from and all that, and I've already done that video, but I want to show you guys a piece of where it's written, but let's break it down. So when you see the word sovereign citizen, it's an oxymoron. It has not been codified, it hasn't been coded, it has not been enumerated, it has not been numbered. It's not written in any state's legislature. It doesn't exist. It's a slang term which somebody can be sued for, the police, the municipality, uh, maybe the news crew use it against you. Maybe the state did, or maybe the tow truck company, or the judge. Whoever it is, they can be sued for defamation of character. You can also go after them for making a legal decision or statement when not licensed by law. See, when they call you something like that, they're labeling you something. Hell, even the FBI use it in their PDFs to administrate information or to convey information to law enforcement, police, and whatever else in concerns to these sovereign citizens. From their perspective, a sovereign citizen is really somebody who is against the police, against, if you watch their videos, and I have, and you read their manuals, and I have, in their police, FBI, et cetera, bulletins that they distribute freely, and I have, they'll tell you that these are people who are dangerous and criminal and have hurt people and whatever else. And guess what? The actions are true, but those are still yet US citizens. They created the term sovereign citizen for anybody who disobeys the law, anybody who wants to operate outside of their jurisdiction, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the law states that we have the right, if we're not being belligerent combatants, illegal activities, criminal stuff, whatever, to live underneath the Constitution and its rules, laws, and so forth. The Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. We have a right to exist in the private citizen sector, the private sector, as nationals of the United States under 8 USC 1401A, 8 USC 1101A 22B, GPO Style Manual, Section 5.23, 8, 18 USC 112, nationals of the United States, internationally protected persons, and so on and so forth. These are our rights, these are our freedoms, and these are our liberties. We don't have to embark into the commercial for profit state system unless we do so by our consent. We absolutely have a right to not engage in commerce or public activities or events or political hemispheres. Most of them know this, but not all. So when they talk about sovereign citizens, are there people out there who take my information, whatever else, and use it illegally or criminally? Yeah, they absolutely do. But that's why we have law enforcement there. But when they arrest people and individuals, they are arresting people who are US citizens or nationals. There can be nationals who do criminal things. There are citizens who do criminal things. That's why we have law enforcement, because no matter which one of those that you claim, you can be prosecuted, but it has to be done correctly by the letter of law. Are these two things something different? They entirely are. But wait a minute, Wolf, you said we have both. So how can they be different and we have both? Yes. Under 8 FAM 301.1-1, letter B, Foreign Affairs Manual, it states that nationality and citizenship are not the same thing, but yet we both, all of us, have it. One is a status for a dead thing. The 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. One is a standing of a living man on the land, terra firma laws, codes of the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. This doesn't mean that you're above the law because you know what this is. This just means that if you are not violating any laws, you're good. Then there's the people who are owned by them in a slave type mentality, a member type mentality, a membership by their consent, which are US citizens. This term you know. But the part that you haven't usually heard is that U.S. citizenship is so codified under the 14th Amendment. That makes you a member of the city and the state and its corporation, which then waives you from your constitutional rights. So, depending on what event you are doing, naturally, safely, public, private, criminal intent, criminal activity, minding your own business, you are either in one or the other. But if you have an identifier like a driver's license and your car is registered, you're on the public side. If you're doing right to travel, you're on the private sector to be left alone. In fact, you are their boss. So it can be very dangerous when somebody uses that term because certain aspects and three-letter agencies of the government look at that term, including some officers, as meaning all people who do not want to live as a U.S. citizen under the 14th Amendment. And that is not accurate at all. But are there people who do abuse their private rights, their liberties, and their freedoms? Are there people out there who are against the GOV? Are there people out there who are against the police of all levels? Absolutely. But is that here and us? No, we are not. We are for our rights. We want them to do what they're doing. We just don't want to be mislabeled. We don't want the law misapplied. We don't want codes and statutes that do not belong to a private citizen and a national misapplied and labeling us as U.S. citizens when in that event we are not. Or if we've committed no danger, no public safety, and we know our rights to not be then mislabeled by law enforcement officers who are not the legislative system, are not legally entitled to make a legal decision without being licensed and trained in the law, not public safety and traffic safety. This is no offense to my friends and family who are cops and officers and whatever else. And a lot of them who have done consultations with me, a lot of them who have reached out to give me information to share with you guys privately, of course. We're just trying to set the record straight. And because I know these powers and principalities, municipalities, agencies, law enforcement, whatever, watch this, we need to come to a nexus on this information. You cannot prosecute anybody. I'm giving you guys a heads up right now. If you guys have people listed in your system as sovereign citizens, this is my second or third acknowledgement to you guys to delete that information. And I know a lot of people out there watching my videos don't want to hear me say that. And the reason why I'm saying that is I'm giving you guys good warning and courtesy to let you know that that is a lawsuit. Believe me or don't believe me. But then I'm also going to turn around and say to those people out there who have been labeled that inappropriately or appropriately, it's still a lawsuit. But here's the thing. The people who are arrested, who are doing criminal activity, and so deservingly should be, even they are still yet 14th Amendment U.S. citizens. You legally cannot put somebody down as a sovereign citizen and then prosecute them underneath them. It is defamation of character, deprivation of their rights. It is due process violations. And you don't have the legal authority. So you're operating under ultra vires, which is outside of your jurisdiction to call somebody that. The law does not recognize the sovereign citizen. It only recognizes the national and the 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. That's it. Some people may not like that I just gave that to the cops. Guess what? Too bad. I told you guys since day one, I play fair. I'm giving them good notice. And to those people who want to file lawsuits, find your documents. If you find it in there, file a lawsuit. I'm giving it to both sides. But let's take a look here. Like I said, it's my last video on it, on something that was sent to me where the word sovereign citizen was used in an official way, but I'll break it down. Oh, yeah, I don't want you to see all that. Hold on one second. How do we do this? How do I share that screen? Okay, got it. Okay, this particular section was sent to me by a viewer. You know who you are. I won't mention your name in case you don't want your name out there. But this falls under public law, chapter 183, 184, May 3rd of 1940, 54 stat, joint resolution, authorizing the President of the United States of America. Okay, hold on in case you can't. There, make it a little bit bigger because that's what she likes. To proclaim I am an American Citizenship Day for the recognition, observance, and communi- uh, commemoration of American citizenship. Whereas some 2 million young men and women in the United States each year reach the age of 21 years, and where it is desirable that the sovereign citizens of our nation be prepared for the responsibility and impressed with the significance of their status in self-governing republic. Therefore, be it. What just happened, Wolf? You said that's not a legal. What they're saying here is that there are citizens who are sovereign. This term together is not capitalized, it's not italicized, it's not um, quotations. So it's not one term. This is not a term recognized by law. It's part of the statement that sovereigns are citizens. This is where some of the OGs started saying, "Well, I'm a sovereign citizen," and then the cop said, "Okay, you're a sovereign citizen," and then they turn it into the N word. This is the real history. This, if you try to coin it together, is not found in law. It's not been codified. It's not enumerated. It's just a lightly used term to present that citizens of our nation are sovereign, meaning the highest power. Why would they say that citizens are the highest power? Because sovereign means king. Citizen means property of and to be made calm or colonized. This was back before the word citizen had that the negative connotation that it can have today. It means you belong to something. That's why originally it was like state citizen. You're not a complete savage, but there is no legal term. And yes, anybody calling somebody this in a derogatory term can be looked at as racial profiling. N words racial, sovereign can be racial. Or you could say legal profiling. Nonetheless, it's derogatory when used as such. It doesn't exist, except for in the minds of people who don't know. So when somebody's arrested, they're just a citizen. They are a U.S. citizen. They did not create a new class of citizen. There is no such thing as a sovereign citizen, but there are citizens who are sovereign, meaning the state citizens, the true Americans, as it says here, American citizenship. So who are they talking about? Americans are the citizens who have sovereign power. Don't let these people divide us and use these things against us because there's outside enemies, foreign and domestic, on our American soil. The rest of this goes to talk about how, this is the day and what day it is, which the third Sunday in May each year will be so designated. And then it goes on to finish up, blah, blah, blah. So if you want to play it the way they're playing it, then fine. Let's if they're going to use it in a janky way, let's return it back in a janky way. So okay. So if you are saying in your police reports that I'm a sovereign citizen or whoever, then that's an American honor because it says it right here that we are impressed with responsibilities, we are self-governing, we are part of the republic, and that this comes right from the President of the United States of America. Him being the highest political power bestowed upon then these people are then the sovereigns of the nation, which if that's the case, we put him into power. So then who really is the power? Who really are the sovereign powers here? That would be us. If you want to use this term, but legally, this is not a legal term. This is not a new class of citizen. It is not so recognized. And if somebody has been processed, arrested as a sovereign citizen, your first thing is to contest and ask, when did Congress create a new type of citizen that has been codified or enumerated that allows you to be processed underneath this? Because then what are the rights and freedoms and rules of a sovereign citizen? Because then I've been processed in the wrong court. Only the highest court can then process me. Or they're denying you of your rights because if it is a thing, then what are the rules to be processed? Who owns it? No one. It's not a thing. That's it, guys. The more you know, the smarter you are, and the more intelligent you can live your life and secure what America has promised us with our birthright: freedom, rights, and liberties, and the pursuit of happiness, and to be safe in all of our property and effects. But first, we have to know what systems, plural, are going on and how we plugged into either one of them, which are both still in the American family or recognized by the American family, but within the U.S. corporation. I'll talk to you later.